Happy Wednesday we'll say evening, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here live for our Wednesday First Alert Weather live stream. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today as we obviously have a very active weather pattern going on across mid-Michigan. That's why we do have a First Alert Weather Day issued for today into tomorrow morning. And it's mostly for the wind. I know there's been some snow falling. That's probably what a lot of people are asking questions about. But the wind will have an impact continuing really throughout a majority of the day into tonight and then into our Thursday for Thanksgiving. But again, we have our details here for the First Alert Weather Day. It's again for all of today into tonight into Thursday morning. We'll have a wind advisory as well until Thursday, about 7 a.m. as when that wind advisory does go until. We'll be looking at gusts the rest of tonight into tomorrow morning at 45 to 55 miles per hour. And again, I hope you can hear me. My mic was having a little bit of issues earlier, so if I am quiet, just let me know. I can try to adjust that just a little bit. But so with those stronger winds that we have, 45 to 55 miles per hour, we do end up seeing power outages being a possibility. Let's see if I can actually pull up that power outage map real quick for anyone that is watching here right now. If it will load for me, let's see if I can get it to load. It's giving me, again, some issues here. Let's see, does that load for us? It does, it's just really small. This off my screen. I think I can zoom in. I can. Okay, there we go. So, power outage map here. This is obviously from Consumers Energy. What we see is so far, I think through mid-Michigan, not much. Maybe a few small pockets right now. Again, with the stronger wind gusts that we have through the remainder of our Wednesday, we can anticipate we see more power outages. Now, here's an area out there just to the west of Mount Pleasant. That looks to be an area with about 80 people without power there, but doesn't look to be as bad in mid-Michigan as it is on the western half of the state right now. So you can see areas there west of Grand Rapids starting to get more and more reports of those power outages. So this is just something we're going to have to watch throughout the rest of today. And we're adding some snow showers. So this is something that got added right around 4 p.m. We really started to see some lake effect snow chances reach the Bay region. We've had on and off lake effect snow for our southern counties. We're talking about Shiawassee and Genesee County. I've been talked to a few friends and family down in that area or just south of Shiawassee County that they've had some accumulation. So not a surprise to see some light stuff accumulating on the ground here on this Wednesday, but it should stay pretty light here through the remainder of the day for most areas. There's going to be some areas to the north you don't get that lucky. But I am going to quickly talk about, we do have wind advisory for every county in mid-Michigan. This goes up until 7 a.m. That wind advisory is for sustained winds out of the west-southwest and now the west-northwest at 20 to, we'll say, 40 miles per hour with wind gusts up to 45 to 55. So again, really right on hand with our First Alert Weather Day with that wind advisory. We've also added those winter headlines for tonight all the way through Friday. So our western counties, that's Clare and Isabella, are holding on to a winter weather advisory. I think for that it's 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 inches of snow. Let's see if I can actually get that up, what they have that officially as. That is until Thursday, 7 p.m. So it ends, I think, a little bit earlier than some of the other advisories. And that is, again, between 1 to 3 inches of snow and wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at these winter storm warnings that we have up to the north. So this is really the area that we're going to have to just keep an eye on. It's not loading this correctly, but that is a winter storm warning, I believe. Yes, a winter storm warning for today all the way through Friday, 7 p.m. So what the National Weather Service has for those areas is 8 to 12 inches of snow. You could see some areas just north there of Roscommon County up towards Traverse City, even higher than that 8 to 12 inches. And then again, wind gusts at 45 to 50. So definitely going to be seeing a lot of snow in our northern counties. That is Roscommon and Ogama counties for the day. Now, you look outside and it actually looks relatively calm. This is downtown Saginaw, there isn't really much to see. Hard to tell if the wind is blowing, but I can definitely hear it here in the studio, so you're definitely getting breezy conditions throughout Saginaw, just throughout mid-Michigan. Tristan, you asked how much snow in Genesee County this weekend. This weekend, I think it's going to be a little bit early to give you an exact snow total for the weekend. We're talking about today, tomorrow, Friday, trace to about 2 inches. This weekend, we still got to fine-tune just a little bit. There's still some question marks about where the heaviest snow wants to set up. I think if you've been hearing about this weekend, there is going to be a system that moves through mid-Michigan late Saturday into Sunday. The First Alert Weather team will be keeping an eye on that here as well over the next couple of days. But as always, we want to look around the United States, including here in Michigan. Let's look out to the west. This is Grand Rapids, an area that is seeing a lot of lake effect snow at this point. You can see off there in the distance, very low visibility, could be heavier at times. So if you do have travel plans, I know a lot of people could be heading out west for tomorrow morning. Just be prepared for some slowdowns. Luckily, it hasn't gotten too bad yet, but again, you could hit some very heavy snow bands. And I always like to look outside of Michigan, look to an area, I think a really cool view. I've never actually seen this camera before, and this is out in California. That is Los Angeles there, a nice view. Not getting any snow there. They've got a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks, but no snow there in California. But we head back to Michigan, and we're going to look at our sky tracker because, again, it is active right now. We're seeing snow chances mostly to the west and northwest. Again, it's going to be areas like Roscommon and Ogama County there to our north that I think see the most consistent snowfall through the remainder of today into your Thursday and then even into Friday. Other areas that definitely could see some consistent snow at times is Huron County, including Bad Axe, Tuscola County, and Sanilac counties, just because that snow is going to try to develop off of the lake up here to the north, travel to the south-southeast, and get there. I think tomorrow won't be the most consistent, but definitely enough you're going to notice it. You're going to see some accumulations as we get through our Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. And I did want to zoom in real quick to our northern counties there, mostly keeping an eye on Roscommon and Ogama counties, where we can see heavy snow right now just staying to the north. So hasn't quite got you yet. You've been seeing snow, but the heaviest stuff is definitely starting to develop, which is right on track with what forecasting models were showing us. Again, there was this sort of possibility that, or not a possibility, but this idea that winds would start to shift from the south to the northwest. We're starting to see that here in the 8 and 9 o'clock hours. That's where we're going to really start to see this intense lake effect snow develop and again travel through Traverse City down to Holton Lake and Roscommon and Ogama County. And we see that with our wind. It's already starting to shift from that northwest corner of the region at 20 to, we'll say, 40 miles per hour. So definitely windy if you're going to be out and about here on our Wednesday, and continues to stay windy, and it's gusty. We're seeing wind gusts close to 50 miles per hour. Saginaw, whenever this last reading was up to 48 miles per hour. You're looking at Flint at 36, West Branch 34, Holton Lake 33. So that's enough in areas, especially up there to the north, like Holton Lake and West Branch, that you could come across some whiteout conditions if you are traveling that way. Maybe you're a late traveler. I know there's some people that, hey, you get out of work late, you're going to be traveling tonight. Be prepared, especially in those areas up towards Roscommon County, whether you're on 75 or 127. And speaking of traffic, we are going to take a look at our First Alert traffic maps just to see what we have going on right now. And much of mid-Michigan is looking relatively good when it comes to that traffic. Up to the north, we have been seeing slowdowns in areas that we probably expected to see slowdowns. I'm talking about there on 75 in Roscommon County, moving to the north as you start to transition back going north. That's been an area that's been slowed down on and off here over the last hour or so. And that's just because you are seeing pretty consistent snowfall, maybe heavy snowfall at times. So again, if you are traveling in that direction, just be careful. Obviously, we don't have any readings there on 127, but I'd imagine 127 is seeing slowdowns. And if you've been that direction here this afternoon, let me know in chat if you had any slowdowns or come across any slowdowns right now. But I am going to zoom back out, go back to our sort of Bay region, and again, not much, not bad. I think if you're going to be traveling here today, tomorrow, Friday, in towards Bay City, Saginaw, Midland, even Flint, you probably have pretty good travels. There will be some light snow. Falling snow could create whiteout conditions, but I think most of the consistent snow stays away from those areas in the Bay region. Now, I did want to just take a quick scroll out to the west. If you're going to be out there towards, I think that's M66, that has had slowdowns on and off throughout the day. Really areas from Mount Pleasant to M66 slowdowns. So again, it's traveling. Play it safe the next couple of days. Whether you're heading out for Thanksgiving, you're heading home from Thanksgiving, travel could be difficult at times. So just be prepared for those slowdowns. We're going to zoom back out once again on our first alert traffic map. Genesee County, not seeing much. Shiawassee, not seeing much. I know there has been some pretty steady snow at times there in southern Genesee and southern Shiawassee County. Like I said, I did have a report of some accumulations just south of Perry, but it hasn't caused any issues on the roadways. And again, this will be an area that should look pretty good. We moved down to we moved to Lansing first in I-69. It's looking good. And then Metro Detroit also looking good. Again, an area that really hasn't seen much snow here over the last few hours. And I'm going to look at our 7-day forecast just real quick before I do have to take a break. It is snow chances for Thanksgiving, a smaller chance for Friday. And if you've been paying attention today, you do have a snow chance this weekend. First alert days are possible for both Saturday and Sunday. Timing, we've got to figure that out here over the next day or so. I think it's going to be late Saturday into Sunday, so we'll see how we end up seeing that development. But accumulation's definitely going to be a possibility. I'm not going to count out 6+ inches. Again, it is early. We'll have a better idea, I think, by this time tomorrow. So we'll have another stream tomorrow afternoon, similar time. So if you're someone that has travel plans, which I know we have many out in the region with Michigan State playing at Ford Field, high school football championships at Ford Field, so you'll be traveling south, you could have difficult travels for those games on Sunday and any travels on Saturday because, again, it is still Thanksgiving weekend. There's going to be many people out and about enjoying their weekend. So that's something we'll watch out. Again, we'll have updates tomorrow morning on Wake Up. We'll have updates in the afternoon. We'll have more live streams. So most likely we'll have a decision on that first alert weather day tomorrow. We'll have a better idea on timing as well, I think, because again, I think it's going to be later in the day Saturday, maybe even overnight Saturday into Sunday, that we see that consistent snowfall. But I do have to take a quick break right now. Once I come back from that break, we will be looking at wind for the rest of the night, snow chances for the rest of the night, and then again, just a quick preview of what we could see as we get into the weekend. So don't go anywhere. Still a lot of updates here on your first alert weather update. Well, welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here, live for the second half of our Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve evening forecast. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. If you have any weather questions, make sure you put them over in our chat. So, starting off on our forecasted gusts, I think this is obviously very important because we could see some power outages through the remainder of the night. We could see very difficult travel conditions for anywhere that has snow. And what we see is this is through 10 p.m., so the next hour or so, seeing those wind gusts up to 40 to 50 miles per hour, very strong winds. Then that remains through about midnight. Yes, some areas do calm down a little bit, but by midnight, 1 a.m., it's wind gusts still 35, to 45 miles per hour, even a few areas up to 50 miles per hour. That will be areas like Bad Axe, Port Hope, could see wind gusts picking up even more. And it doesn't really look to calm down that much. It will a little bit, not as breezy as today, but still noticeable. 25 to 40 miles per hour. This is at 11 a.m. on Thursday, and then increasing up or decreasing down to 25 to 35 for Thursday evening / afternoon. So if you have travel plans maybe later in the day, definitely see that calming wind trend, and that continues for Friday. This is 3 p.m., 20 to 30 miles per hour. So definitely still strong winds, but nowhere near as strong as what we had maybe earlier in the day and then what we had for our Wednesday. Now, in terms of snowfall, again, we've had that shift of snow out of the northwest, so that will continue to produce this lake effect snow. And I'm actually going to take it back because I want you to watch the northern counties, Roscommon, Ogama, even towards Gladwin, and watch how consistent that lake effect snow is as we get through the night. It really is just persistent at times in some of those areas, and that's why you're going to see some quick accumulations because it's lake effect snow. It could be very heavy as it falls. This is at 7 a.m., still seeing that snowfall, and like I mentioned earlier, it's definitely going to stretch itself out where you could see some snow out there into Huron County, Tuscola, and Sanilac County as we're waking up Thursday morning. As we get into Thursday afternoon, still having that lake effect snow. So it continues. It won't be until Friday that we have that snow chance start to lower itself, become very isolated. You're still probably going to see lake effect snow, I think, through about midday Friday, but it's not as consistent, not as heavy, puts us in a better spot to have a nice afternoon where we actually, I think, could see some sunshine through 2, 3, 4 p.m. on Friday. Won't be totally clear skies, but definitely a better spot than what we were for today, Thanksgiving, and what we'll end up seeing as we head towards the weekend. So for anyone that was waiting, here's your snow totals. Not much change here through the day. 1 to 4 inches if you live out there in Tuscola, Sanilac, Huron counties. And let me just say, that's not a guarantee. You may end up getting lucky and missing out on a snow band, and you only get about an inch. So we pretty rangy there, 1 to 4, and I think that's mostly because it is lake effect snow. It's not consistent on its location, so it could move from minute to minute. So you may catch one band towards Bad Axe, that's up to 4, and 5 miles south, it's only about an inch. And as we move to the north, it's going more towards 2 to 5 in Gladwin, just north of Clare. A majority of Ogama County in that 2 to 5. Now, there will be some question marks. Could we see that number jump up? I think there's a possibility if you can just get the right setup of lake effect snow. I think more commonly, though, forecasting models have been showing that our lake effect snow is going to be into Roscommon in western Ogama County. That's where you could see 6 to 12 inches of snowfall from tonight all the way through about 8 a.m. on Friday. And again, that could be more midday Friday. And could that number increase? It definitely. I apologize for that. Just had our intercom go off there, just getting something fixed. Sometimes that happens. I like to mute it, so I do apologize for that. But again, up to the north, Roscommon County, 6 to 12 inches of snow. That number could go up as well. Again, it's just consistency. Where do we see the most consistent? Where do we see the heaviest band set up? Because that will determine how much snow you do see here over the next couple of days. Now, winter weather impact. It still continues to show that moderate to even major impact there just north of Holton Lake. So if you're going to be traveling in that direction, be prepared for that impact. Otherwise, I think much of mid-Michigan looks to be in that low impact. It's going to be Huron County, Tuscola, Sanilac counties, and then out to the west, seeing some of those minor impacts still. So if you're heading to Grand Rapids, maybe Kalamazoo, even far south towards maybe Chicago or Indiana, definitely going to have those minor impacts. And this isn't it. I've seen a few questions about this weekend. Nick asked, speaking about the weekend, about what time is the snow going to start falling on Saturday. So we're actually going to look at that right now. I did want to quickly highlight what we're first alerting you to, because we are the possibility of a first alert weather day on Saturday into Sunday. Again, there's still some timing questions, but I do think we're going to have the possibility of seeing area-wide accumulations for Saturday into Sunday. So if you live in mid-Michigan, I think Flint, Saginaw, Bay City, where you won't get much snow today, tomorrow, and Friday, this is going to be the event that sort of replaces it, makes up for it. So make sure you're prepared. Shovels, snow blowers. You got a few days here to get those prepared, because this system looks to be showing itself. Forecasting models haven't changed very much over the last couple of days. There's been consistency, and if you're forecasting, that's sort of what you want to see. I know we don't want to see heavy snow, but it is there. So here's one of the models. It is showing right around 2 p.m. light snow showing itself into mid-Michigan, becoming more consistent, I'd say right around 7 to 8 p.m. So if that answers your question, Nick, I think it's going to be later in the day Saturday. We're talking 2, 3, 4 p.m. light snow, getting more consistent 6, 7, 8 p.m. and being consistent through the night into Sunday morning. So this is 7 a.m. Still seeing consistent snowfall for all of Michigan. Travel could be difficult if we can get those higher accumulations. Again, there's still some question marks about that. I do think some models have backed off just a little bit, so that could be a good sign. We're still going to see that snow chance, and then it starts to roll out, I'd say late Sunday, by 8, 9 p.m. Sunday. That snow chance looks to be gone. Still will have some lake effect snow. We'll add more of that into Monday morning because that system will change our winds out of the northwest. Charlotte asks, how much snow? What I'm going to say for now is I'm going to say expect, I would say be prepared for 6 plus inches. That seems high. It's definitely going to change. We're definitely going to have to fine tune it because right now the models that we have to use are a little bit more of our wide range models. So they're not the most precise. So it's not looking good for us that are going out Black Friday shopping early Friday morning in Mount Pleasant area. Stephanie asks, honestly, you might be fine. It's going to be cold. I want to remind everyone that too, but I think Friday morning, most of that snow should be north of you. Real quick, we'll see. So this is at 7 a.m. Actually, it looks like you could have some clear skies in Mount Pleasant. So I wouldn't count out Black Friday shopping Mount Pleasant on Friday. You might be in a good spot. But again, back to what we're seeing for this weekend, that snow chance is there. And Charlotte asked about Flint. I'm glad when it's finally starting to snow a little bit, very windy. Yeah, that's an area you're definitely going to start to see some snow chances, probably starting in the next hour. But for Flint, again, it's hard to say because if this system backs up, we definitely could see less of that snow, probably more like 2 to 4 inches. It's very hard to give an exact amount right now. We need more forecasting models to sort of reach that time. That will be tomorrow afternoon that we start to see more and more of those forecasting models reach through the weekend. But I think be prepared for accumulating snow up to 6 inches. Could we see more? Definitely a possibility. It's just hard to say. Your first alert weather team will be fine-tuning the totals. We'll either have a snow map late tomorrow or Friday. Again, we'll see how things play out. So if you're going to be looking for that, your snow total maps for anyone that has plans this weekend, we'll definitely be trying to get that out, again, either late tomorrow or Friday. Right now, I think we're focused on what we have for today, tomorrow, Friday, and then that secondary system where, again, you're seeing consistent snow late Saturday into Sunday, moving out by Monday. And again, there will be some travel difficulties there if there is accumulating snow. So just be prepared for that. If you are traveling Saturday into Sunday, which again, I know there will be some people that are because of some of the events going on at Ford Field, whether that's Michigan State football or state finals for high school football, just be prepared. You could get some snow. Cody asks, how much do you think it will be out by? How much do you think it will be out by Saginaw Bay, Linwood area? If you're talking about this event, I don't know what event you're talking about. If you're talking about today, tomorrow, Friday, or the weekend, most likely a trace to 2 inches, maybe a little bit more for that area for the next couple of days. And again, as we head into the weekend, I think that total is going to change. So I don't want to give anyone a snow amount. This is what I'm going to say. I don't want to give anyone a snow amount right now because we don't have all the models reaching that weekend. are reaching the weekend yet, so I can't give you a good read. I can tell you, hey, it might be 4 to 6. It's definitely going to change between now and what we have in the weekend. What time will the wind going to slow down in Bay City, Michigan? If I had to give you a rough guess, probably over the weekend. It's going to be windy the rest of tonight. It'll be windy most, if not all, the day Thursday, and most likely is windy Friday. Then we add that secondary low pressure system, and that always increases our wind chances. So I anticipate it's going to be windy on Wednesday or on Saturday and Sunday. So we may not see calmer winds across mid-Michigan until maybe Monday, which I know not everyone's going to enjoy that. Again, we'll have to see how this weekend plays out with that low pressure system, but a few of the forecasting models have it going right through Michigan, and usually when that happens, you can anticipate stronger winds across the state. But I do have to get going here. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. We'll quickly look at our 7-day forecast for anyone that is joining late. Again, you have snow chances for Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, and into Monday. And again, you'll be seeing a first alert day possible for both Saturday into Sunday. And then also look beyond Monday. You see temperatures into the 20s for Tuesday and Wednesday. So right as we get this snow gone, we add some really cold temperatures. So be prepared to be bundled up here over the next 7 days. It's obviously that time of year. We're into December. I think most people are going to say, hey, it's Michigan in December. We're anticipating this, but we've been pretty nice here over the last couple of weeks. So I think this is going to be a shock to some people. But like I said, I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. As always, we'll have streams tomorrow. Meteorologist Matthew Monroe will be here in the morning with more updates. We'll have a stream, I think, around 9 a.m. So if you can't wake up, you can catch our stream there. And then I'll have some streams later in the day because football does take over into the afternoon as the Cowboys and Chiefs will be on our main channel. But again, thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday and a wonderful rest of your Thanksgiving.